So you've invested in a talented offshore team. And on the surface, everything looks pretty good. But how do you really know if you're getting the value you're paying for? Today, we're going to move past those gut feelings and look at the hard data that separates a good offshore partnership from a truly great one. You know, it's the question that keeps a lot of business owners and CTOs up at night. You see all this activity, but is it actually translating into real progress? Let's break down exactly how you can get that concrete proof you need to feel confident. Hey there! As an expert from WeblineIndia, I've seen this challenge up close. We help companies build and manage high-performing offshore teams every single day. So I want to walk you through the exact questions we ask to make sure everything is on track. Think of it like a little Q&A session for your own team. You know, our experience at WeblineIndia, working on everything from complex AI and agentic AI solutions to super-specific N8N automation workflows, has taught us one thing for sure. Having the right metrics can make or break an offshore partnership. So let's start with the absolute foundation of any great software project, the quality of the code itself.
Right, let's build this from the ground up. Our first big pillar is code quality, because let's be honest, a shaky foundation is going to bring the whole house down eventually, no matter how fast you try to build it.
So the first question we have to ask ourselves is this: are we building something that's actually built to last? This isn't about how many lines of code are being written. It's about the quality of that code. Because technical debt, well, that's a bill that always comes due.
To get a really clear picture, we look at these 4 key things. Defect density tells us if we're building a solid product or, a house of cards. Change failure rate shows if our releases are stable or if we're just constantly putting out fires. Mean time to recovery measures how fast we can bounce back from those fires. And code coverage? That gives us the confidence that our code is properly tested and reliable. Let's really zoom in on that change failure rate, or CFR. This one's a big deal. It's the difference between a smooth, predictable release cycle and a totally chaotic one, where every deployment feels like a gamble. A high CFR is a huge red flag that your team is stuck just reacting to problems instead of building new value.
So what's a good number to aim for here? The best of the best, the elite teams, they consistently hit a change failure rate below 15%. And that's not just some random number. It's proof of a mature, stable, and really well-run development process.
Okay, quality is absolutely crucial, but it's only half the story, right? The other half is speed. But we're not talking about just churning out code for the sake of it. We're talking about the velocity of value. How quickly can you get meaningful improvements into the hands of your users?
And this leads to a super important question. If we all agree that just counting lines of code is basically a useless metric, then how do we measure true progress? How do we know if we're actually moving the needle? Well, the answer lies in these 3 key metrics. Cycle time tells us how long it takes for a simple idea to become a real feature for our users. Deployment frequency shows us how consistently we're delivering that value. And throughput gives us a sense of our team's overall capacity. Together, they paint a really complete picture of our team's momentum.
Look, if you take only one thing away from this section, let it be this: focus on cycle time. It is hands down the ultimate measure of your team's efficiency. A short cycle time means you have a well-oiled machine that can respond to customer needs and market changes fast.
So, your team is writing great code, and they're shipping it fast. That's fantastic. But here's the tough question. So what? This next part is all about connecting those dots between all that great technical work and the actual business impact.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's what should be on every leader's mind. Are we building stuff that people actually want and use? Are we solving real problems? Because if the answer to that is no, then everything else we're doing is just noise. And to answer that big question, we need to look at these metrics. Feature adoption is our reality check. Are people using what we build? ROI is, of course, the ultimate bottom line. Time to market tells us if we're staying competitive. And customer satisfaction scores? That's the voice of our customer, telling us exactly how we're doing. All right, let's talk about something that's often overlooked but is absolutely critical, and that's the human element. Because at the end of the day, you're not just hiring a bunch of skills, you're building a relationship, a partnership, and the strength of that partnership will ultimately decide your success.
I mean, just think about it. Every single time a team member leaves, you're not just losing a person, you're losing all that valuable knowledge, that experience, that project momentum. It's a huge setback. That's why team stability is so important. A low turnover rate is a crystal clear sign that you've built a healthy, engaged, and high-performing team.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of different metrics. But how do you pull it all together? How do you create a system that consistently delivers across the board? It's not about just tracking numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about building a true culture of excellence.
At WeblineIndia, we've spent years refining our approach to this, and we've poured all that learning into a framework we call the 𝗤𝗏𝗄𝐿 model. It's really our blueprint for making sure every single offshore partnership we build is set up for success from day one.
The 𝗤𝗏𝗄𝐿 model is built on 4 core principles. It all starts with clear, effective communication. Then, it's about making sure you have the right people with the right skills. After that, rigorous quality assurance is totally non-negotiable. And finally, security and compliance have to be rock solid. These are the building blocks of a real, successful partnership.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. Don't just hope for a successful offshore partnership, build one. And you build it by measuring what actually matters. A data-driven approach is what transforms your offshore team from just a cost center into a powerful, strategic engine for your company's growth.
If you're ready to start measuring what matters and build a truly high-performing offshore team, we'd love to chat. You can find us at our website, shoot us an email, or connect with us on social media for more insights just like this.
And hey, if you found this deep dive helpful, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We're always breaking down complex topics in the tech world to help you stay ahead of the curve.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I really hope this gave you a clear roadmap for measuring the success of your development team. If it did, do me a favor and give this a like, share it with someone who might need it, and of course, be sure to follow us for more. I'll see you in the next one.